This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.
And are you lost? What do you do when you're lost, and who comes to find you? Who do you call?
Ghostbusters!
Welcome. No. Welcome to the OI podcast, the Otago Institute podcast. No mai, haere mai, and welcome to episode, I think we're up to 123,
Crikey.
24.
Oh.
It's in the 20s anyway. Who do you call? With Ali Scarlet. I'm Dr. Barb, a quantitative ecologist with a background in modelling climate change, biodiversity conservation, prioritisation and SciComm, and a PhD in botany from Otago Whakaihuwaka, the University of Otago.
And kia ora katoa, I'm Trudy and I just do whatever I'm told. So thank you for joining.
It's totally not true. It's totally not true.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of the OI podcast, the podcast for discerning listeners, and we know you're all out there and we're really pleased to have you on this journey. And this is brought to you by the Otago Institute, the Otago branch of the Royal Society for Arts, Sciences and Mātauranga Māori.
Fantastic, look at that. Hey, and we are so lucky to have in the studio today Ali Scarlet. You are the South Island team leader for group and volunteer support. And
Crikey.
I know, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Today's topic is land search and rescue. Thank you for coming.
Kia ora. Thanks for having me.
Wow. So I'm just going to go
Well,
right.
we're not lost because we're in the studio.
We're not lost because
got
we're in the
that
studio. So we're going to go through what people should do when they're lost and like a whole lot of other things. But first, like just right off the top, what is land search and rescue? Like it's on land, I'm guessing. And there's like, is that the Coast Guard does the marine stuff or?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
yeah.
what you cover, I guess, is where we're going to start.
So we cover anybody who is lost, missing and injured inland. That may include around waterways sometimes, but we're generally not trained to go in the water unless you're a technical river, canyon or cave person.
Right. So it sort of covers like fresh water that's on top of land, like lakes and streams and rivers.
not lakes, because
But
some
not
lakes,
really, like only sometimes.
But then sometimes we'll search shorelines as well.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
There's lots of coastal searches around the motu, so yeah, we are involved when the police decide that we are the right asset to deploy.
Right. So when someone calls and says either I'm missing, I don't know where I am, or help, my husband or wife or son or whatever hasn't come back from the weekend. They said they'd be back this evening and it's dark and they're not here. Or any number of amazing scenarios that I have run out of thoughts on.
Well, like you've got a field team, a team in the field.
Anyway,
and
if
they're
someone
overdue.
rings, who do they ring? Who do they call? That's the first thing.
So there are two methods of deployment that we have. So either somebody is reported lost or overdue, and that is generally done through police, through 111, and the police will then contact each of the different local groups, let them know this is the scenario, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, and a team or multiple teams get sent out to search.
So when you say local groups, that's local groups for the land search and rescue.
Yeah, so we have 68 different groups around the country
Right.
who are involved with their local police, who tend to know their areas really well, and they know each other really well. That's really important, that you're going out with people you trust and know that can keep each other safe as you're going through sometimes some really stressful and some really tiring terrain.
And I imagine like sometimes when people are lost or in danger or someone's worried about them, it's because it's got dark or there's a storm on or a snow or they're in dangerous conditions.
Yeah.
So it's not sort of your usual kind of walk in the park, nice sunny day tramp when you're looking for people that are lost. I mean, sometimes maybe it is.
We're lucky if it's nice weather, but generally that call comes just as you're about to sit down to dinner and it's getting dark and cold, and inevitably the weather comes in. It's just Murphy's Law sometimes. I have been on searches where it's been good weather and we're very grateful, but you have to go prepared for every eventuality.
Right. Crazy, yeah. So 68 groups. That's quite a lot, over the whole of, and I guess that covers like all the way.
All the far north right down to, there's a group on Stewart Island.
There's a group on Stewart Island. Chatham's, is there?
I think Chatham's have their own
sort of system. Yeah. Fair enough.
So there's two different ways that we get deployed. One is through somebody being reported, or if they're lucky to have cell phone reception to go, oh my goodness, I'm stuck or I'm injured or I don't know where I am.
Right.
Or the other way is if you have a PLB, a personal locator beacon.
Right.
Which we cannot emphasise enough. They're like the best piece of equipment to take.
It's such a whole new thing from when we were young, right? Because you were just out there and you'd have someone with you. And we always used to say, like, just never go tramping by yourself. Always go with a group or with at least someone so that, you're not by yourself. But, like, more and more, like, PLBs, it's an amazing thing. And they've come down a lot in price as well.
100%. And they really take the search out of search and rescue for us. They give us a set of really specific coordinates so we know, so the agency who receives that notification is the Rescue Coordination Centre will look at the assets and where the call out, the activation has come from and make a call as to whether that's worth sending a helicopter to have a look. That's generally their first protocol is what air assets are there, and it's generally a helicopter. The helicopter might contact a local group as well and go, hey, we've got this call out. So we've got two main agencies that deploy us, the police or RCC, the Rescue Coordination Centre.
Right. And I guess when that PLB goes, it's sending coordinates and there must be an identifier with it that says this is the person that registered this PLB.
That's correct. And
but you don't know the situation at all. You just know that it's gone off.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's kind of like, that's still the genie in the box, as they say. Do they say that? Is that a thing people say?
Genie in a bottle?
Genie in the bottle. Genie in the bottle.
Something's out of the box.
As I said it didn't seem quite right. Like I was mixing up metaphors there anyway.
and I suppose, the emphasis really want to rescue people.
And I guess, people don't set their PLBs off unless it's an emergency. Is that true?
That is usually what happens. Sometimes they accidentally get activated. So there are a few, and especially if people throw them away without properly notifying Maritime New Zealand humanity.
Decommission
sometimes there'll be an activation in a dump.
Wow. I mean, that must be freaky because you don't know if it's someone who's like by accident woken up, because every crime procedure that's ever been has had a body in a dumpster and then either the person's woken up there.
This took a dark turn very quickly.
So if you're planning to murder anybody and dump the body, make sure the PLB doesn't go with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess they have to kind of not be dead and set it off, right, still.
Yeah, you need to be able to activate.
Right. And just for those out there who don't know what a PLB looks like, is it big? Is it heavy? How small are they? What do they cost? How do you activate them? Are they super simple to use?
They do vary in size. I'm lucky enough that I carry one that's very small, so it's smaller than my fist. But there are some that are slightly bigger, about cell phone size. But for the insurance policy that it is, it's hardly a weight to carry.
Yeah.
And they roughly around $600 or $700. Right. You can also hire them from a lot of local outdoor shops.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually an interesting idea as well. Because, for people who go tramping every now and again, or maybe even it's their first trip, I don't want to be kind of broad brushstrokes here, but that might be the most likely time that you would get in trouble when you're just kind of an occasional person. Is that overly generalised?
That is a wonderful sweeping brushstroke.
I was just thinking, who are the people who get in trouble? Is it just
a lot of people listening might have heard of the recent search that happened up in Kahurangi National Park, where a gentleman was missing for almost 3 weeks.
Wow!
And he did not have a PLB with him. He was an experienced tramper. He also didn't sit still, which is probably one of the things we would really emphasise to people. Please just stop and stay in one place if it's safe to do so.
Yeah,
because
obviously, if you're underneath an avalanche that's about to go, then don't stay there. Move to somewhere safe. But
that's right.
But
when you're a moving target, it makes it really hard to find.
Because if you've already searched somewhere and then
they go back,
they go back there, I'm like, how annoying would that be? That would be crazy. I mean, it's like chasing a moving target, as you said.
Man, they'd be getting telling off if I was in the rescue team.
Wow. Yeah. It's a good point. So if you are lost, make sure you've got a PLB with you.
Yeah. You want to make sure you have one before you get lost.
Yeah, that's true. It's like wills, isn't it? You've got to have them sorted before you need it.
And I've been on the receiving end of a rescue, and I like to think that I'm quite experienced in the outdoors. We were skiing last year in a backcountry hut up in the Canterbury High Country, and we're all pretty experienced. We've got some good avalanche training and know how to keep ourselves safe. But unfortunately, one of our party crashed and broke his leg. And there is no way out of there other than by helicopter.
Right.
So our other friend who was with him at the time pulled his PLB, and unfortunately what happens next is the Rescue Coordination Centre see who that is registered to and then phone their next of kin.
Right. Who was also on the trip?
No, who was at home, who then receives this phone call and wonders what on earth has happened. Of course, none of the parties other than those who are involved know what's gone on.
Right.
And so that must be horrible to receive that phone call to say, oh, you know that, okay, great, they are in the right area of where you think they are.
I mean, I guess that's double checking, isn't it? Like,
Exactly.
you haven't been playing, like, your kids haven't been playing with something in the back room thinking, what is this? I'll pull this or push these buttons or whatever. It makes sense because it must be expensive to send a helicopter out.
Yep.
And if you can save that expense just from one phone call, but I can imagine that's a horrible phone call to be making as well as receiving.
But it also must narrow down search time. So then, if you just send a helicopter out checking where they were, then it
I guess
improves your chance of finding someone because
it gives you that double sourcing citations, doesn't it? Like you've got two separate sources saying
They
this
should be
person
there.
should be in this area, and then they go
and
there.
it's not that they're always lost. They could be missing or injured.
Yeah.
And injured is what is the case
Yes.
a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I imagine with PLBs that's more and more the case is that they're injured, and that must. I mean, I guess in the old days, what would happen? Someone would put some sort of a makeshift splint on, and then people would try and move them to somewhere, or someone in the group would run
for help.
for help, and who knows? I mean, by definition, you're in the back country somewhere, right? So that's a long time that you're kind of waiting there with a broken leg, and whoever's running for help, that's not a particularly risk-free endeavour because you're stressed and you're under time pressure and you're aware that someone's injured and waiting for you. And
on the flip side of that, it doesn't always happen in the wilderness either. A lot of searches now happen in our cities and our towns where we have members of our society who've got dementia or Alzheimer's or autism, and they sometimes
there must be lots of sort of mental health issues there.
And they sometimes go missing. They leave their residence or the hospital or their caregivers, and they don't know where they've gone. We have some technology which helps our team members to go find them. Sometimes it works better than others, but it doesn't necessarily mean
what kind of technology helps people find people.
So there's a pendant that can be issued through the Wander Search program, and it's basically it's a very basic RFID. So, and then we go out with these receivers, similar to how you track kiwi.
I was just going to say, it's similar to how you track kiwi.
It's exactly the same.
Wow, that's actually really clever, isn't it?
If the person is wearing their pendant.
If they're wearing the
and sometimes we find them in their residence, but it gives us a better chance of bringing them home quicker and safer.
Yeah, and that's if people are maybe older or frailer, then they might, or younger, or not in good shape anyway, they might not be that well adapted to taking care of themselves in, like, even just spending a night in the cold, in the dark, confused for whatever reason, might actually be enough to be quite a dangerous situation.
Yeah, it doesn't always end well.
No.
Both in the wilderness and urban.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and it is quite interesting to think that because when I think of search and rescue, I think of mountains and things. Like when I was a kid, we had a thing, and well before PLBs, and one of our outdoor pursuit teachers went missing, and he was gone for ages and ages, and he was so close he could see the road, but I mean he was a long way away from the road. He could see the road, but they obviously couldn't hear them from the road. And yeah, he was just at the end of a long trip, and he was there, and he was thankfully eventually found. It was all very happy ending, but it was like nobody thought it was going to be a happy ending for some time. And I just think now, honestly, if he'd had a PLB, which no fault to him because it didn't exist at the time, but if he had, it would have been just like that. I mean, to be fair, it was before cell phones as well. I am really that old, folks out there.
He could have taken a flare.
He could have taken a flare. Yeah, I don't know.
And I
Did
think,
mountaineers used to take flares? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Mountain radios probably
Yeah.
more so than anything,
Yeah.
but or satellite phones. All these things are bulky, and when you're carrying other specialist equipment, you want to minimise that as much as possible.
Yeah, and that's it's a great thing for I guess for technology, isn't it? But I mean,
That's right.
The other thing is really letting people know where you're going and when you're planning to get
100%.
back.
Oh, intentions are the most important, other than carrying as much safety equipment with yourself to keep yourself safe and warm and dry. Please tell people where you're going.
Yeah, and go where you're going.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But there's so much technology available to us now. So not just PLBs, but InReach. So Garmin have an InReach system where you can text from your phone through this device, which sends an exact message to your loved ones or anybody to say, oh, look, plans have changed, weather's come in, I'm just going to hold up for a day, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And you
See,
can
that's
also
actually-
receive information on that too.
Yeah, that's really useful, eh?
And then the networks are all getting better with satellite communications too, like the One NZ network. That really helped us on our ski trip where we could actually text the guy with broken leg's wife to let him know exactly what has happened.
Right.
So both of those forms of communications we used so we could then tell the coordinating authority exactly what had happened.
Yeah.
So
and that allows them to get there and be more prepared and know what they're heading for. And
yes, maybe. Just because you pull a PLB or notify that something's gone wrong doesn't mean that people will necessarily be able to come straight away.
Oh, really?
The assets might be tied
I just
up.
imagine
the
that
weather might
they're
be
just
bad.
like magic, hey?
We were lucky that a helicopter managed to get in really quickly with our situation, but because our friend wasn't able to get himself into the helicopter, they were like, well, we can't take him, and the weather was closing in, so they had to leave.
Oh, wow. So they just like dropped.
They came in to see what was going on, and they did what they had to. There's no way we could say they should have done otherwise. And then we found out that a rescue team was coming from Canterbury, Alpine Rescue Canterbury, and we knew that they had some good drugs on board.
Pain relievers.
Yes, pain relievers, sorry.
Pain relievers, yes.
The green whistle, our friend the green whistle. And they couldn't fly all the way to the hut, so they had to walk up to the hut in blizzard conditions to then be with us all night, through the howling wind. And
Wow.
But no
so
more
grateful.
howls from the patient because we'd had the meds. No.
So did the helicopter
bad.
just
It
kind of
would
hover
be.
above you and couldn't land, or what? I don't understand.
So they try to get as close as they can,
Yeah.
but depending on the conditions, they just had to drop them back down so it's an old ski field, and they just dropped them back down the old access road, and
And then they had to
off you
walk
go.
up. Oh,
So they don't have winches like you see on
Yeah,
the
they do that where it's possible.
Right, yeah.
And I guess you have to actually be able to hold the
Person up.
helicopter quite still, so that's not going to work if it's blustery wind.
Exactly.
And also when you're close to a mountain, you obviously don't want the helicopter to hit the mountain.
No.
So
So there's been a really great series of podcasts that RNZ have had on recently called Search and Rescue.
Oh, okay.
And talking about the
Might link those.
Mount Cook rescues for Mark Ingalls. And,
Oh, yeah.
And forgive me, I forgot his name. But a helicopter crashed during that rescue, and it went on for such a long time. But there's lots of really cool stories that people can listen to if they want to as well.
But it's so scary. Like, you would never want to put the people who are trying to rescue someone else in danger, because then, like, you just have like the snowball. Sorry about the snow reference there. You have the snowball effect where you just.
Yeah, that's always the first thing when you do a first aid course, which is nowhere near your level, but you make sure the situation's safe before you even
100%,
enter it. Yeah.
Although, to be fair, it does seem quite similar to, the basic first aid courses you get now. They're like, make sure someone's called 911, make sure you're safe, and that seems like exactly.
It's all part of our training as well.
It's kind of what you're saying, right? Like, assess the situation, pull the PLB, which is the same as calling 911.
I wasn't saying that my rescue skills are anywhere near.
I think it's quite a good analogy though. Like, if you sort of,
Yeah,
it's just kind of like the rescues may be slightly more tricky.
100%. And that's one of the checks that our teams do before they go in the field and during their time in the field to make sure, am I safe to deploy right now? Have I had enough rest? Is there other stresses going on in my life that's going to distract me from being a good search and rescue participant?
Yeah. So that's quite a lot of self-reflection on the part of the people who are making the team. How does the volunteer
I was going to say,
system
are
work?
they all volunteers?
Are they all volunteers?
All volunteers, and they're available 24/7.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Professionally trained, and they are
So
required
it's like
to
just normal people who are basically doing this highly skilled job.
Professionals, they're normal professionals.
they're unpaid professionals.
Yeah,
professionally
professional
trained, highly skilled people, but they're basically just doing it for free, which is kind of amazing.
All over the country, except for Aoraki Mount Cook. The rescue team based there are employed by DOC.
Right.
So
Fair
they-
enough, because lots of
yeah.
people go missing there.
That's right. So
Is
they,
that because it's like
it's a hotspot.
It's a hotspot,
and
right?
and it's highly technical, so you need a team on the ground ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And mostly during summer. In winter, they have a skeleton crew.
Right.
So that's the only paid team in the country. And internationally, it's common that all of these kind of rescue services are volunteers,
Yeah, it's crazy,
Oh,
isn't it?
internationally, that's interesting.
whether that's land, sea,
Sea
or
or-
surf.
Really?
Right.
Oh, wow.
So what
And so
kind
who-
of training? Sorry.
Oh, no, you go. What kind of training?
Yeah.
So there are a raft of different courses that our members can go on once they're a member with us, and we have 3 basic courses that most teams will require them to complete and before they become operational,
Right.
and that's outdoor first aid, search techniques, and track and clue awareness. So really specific skills.
Tracking clue awareness.
Track and clue awareness.
Oh,
So-
track and clue. Oh, that
so
makes
knowing
more
how
sense.
to
Yeah.
track a person and identify and record.
Do you have tracking
clues.
dogs?
We do. We have a group of search dogs that are dotted around the country. And of course,
Oh, I saw one on that Mount Hutt rescue program. They were digging in the snow. They were practicing finding someone in an avalanche. Oh,
And
it's
are
really
they like personal dogs?
yes.
So
So the member is a member of their group first before they become a dog handler.
Right.
And they are put through multiple different camps alongside being an operational field team member. They have to have that skill core skills first.
Right. And then how do they find the dogs? Like, does the person just say, I've got a really good dog and I think she's got a great nose?
Not yours, no.
Well, Akimai might be. Well, she's a bit older now, so she probably wouldn't be able to do it. But yeah. God, how do they find the dog? Like, are they specially bred dogs, like guide dogs, or are they just like, is this completely off where your
Really
your remit goes?
enthusiastic dogs.
I think the way the system works at the moment is people have a dog, and from a puppy they train. them.
train
Like
them,
if you have a dog, it's already mature.
It's too late.
It's pretty much too late.
The ship sailed.
The ideal situation is that we'd have a breeding program that
Like the guide dog system,
Yeah.
where they kind of have the breeding program, they breed for.
and you know that it's got good skills, good background.
Yeah.
But at the moment, the program's not quite at that point. But
We can't import them from Switzerland like St. Bernards or
I don't know. Would
Castle
St. Bernard's
yeah.
work here?
I don't know. Who else does,
In
does there
America,
any
in
other?
America, they have those basset hound things, like coon dogs. They call them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, honestly.
Raccoons,
I feel like in
think
New
we're
Zealand,
talking
I think
about.
like in New Zealand, I feel like we'd have like border collies or.
Oh, I was thinking
a lot
Labradors,
dogs.
but
a lot of
Labradors.
German shepherds, few
cool.
the
Belgian shepherds,
ubiquitous
The
German
Malinois?
shepherd. Yeah.
a few labs.
They are amazing
and
on
spaniels.
YouTube. Those Malinois, like you see them jumping up things. They're crazy.
Yep.
Very big. And I guess being big is quite good for a search and rescue dog, is it? Because they can
guess-
cover the ground more easily.
Yes, but you're not necessarily wanting to run behind your dog because it's often over rough terrain.
Right.
And sometimes if you're having to get winched in and out of a helicopter, you
You
might
don't
have
want a big dog.
big dog
See,
sitting on your lap as well.
Akimai, that's the way to go. Little dog. I'll put a picture of my dog up on.
I think she's a bit short in the
You
leg
can go
base.
search for ninjas.
She's very good at finding like little things that are out of place. Yeah. Anyway. Wow. What I want to ask is who pays for it? Like, so when they go on these professional training courses, like they must be expensive, right? Because that's like highly training people going away for a weekend. I mean, I guess if you're going bush, you're going not having a lot of accommodation charges, but like even the wear and tear on gear must be extraordinary. Like, I mean, I guess most people that are volunteers have some gear.
Yeah. So our national organisation gets funding or applies for funding, which helps us to run these courses for our members throughout the year. And often they are at venues like school camps or sometimes they're more in the bush. But usually we provide accommodation so they can do some theory side of the course and then some practical outdoor stuff as well.
Right. So just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. So we have paid tutors who come and do that. And
And is that part of your job to organise those things?
yeah, that's part of my group and volunteer support team.
Right.
So there's 5 of us around the South Island, another 5 in the North Island, to help coordinate all those training courses to get the volunteers to there and back safe and make sure they're fed, make sure they've got all the equipment. We've also got a lot of funding recently which will help to kit out our volunteers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I joke that we come from the dirtbag tramper background, so we kind of go like, we'll just use our own gear. But we've got all this funding which will cover the PPE, the personal protective equipment. So that's everything. So we can show up. We can turn up to base in our work clothes, get changed, and then go out.
Ready to go, yeah.
That's the ideal situation.
Yeah.
And
So that's like firemen, isn't it? Like
exactly.
all their equipment is just there, and it means they come from wherever they are. They arrive at the fire station. 30 seconds later, I don't know what the time actually is, people. I'm just saying 30 seconds. They're dressed and they're in the engine and they're out. That's how it happens on Chicago Fire.
Oh, that's the volleys. Because professionals
are already there.
They're already there.
That's true, yes. No, I'm only thinking about volunteers.
So it's quite interesting. There's a
true.
huge, in the search and rescue, there's a huge, surf, water, land. And then, of course, there's the volunteer fire brigade as well. There's quite a
And I guess
huge
the
area of
ambulances are
support.
there as well.
Yeah,
And the police.
is volunteered as opposed
search
to the paid.
what are those people? Armed defenders.
Oh my goodness.
They're
That's
part
got
of the
nothing to do with
police.
Oh, that's got nothing to do with it. They're part of the police. Okay.
But
If it's a big enough search, the military will get involved, and it's generally in the areas where the Air Force bases are, like around Marlborough and Lower North Island. But we haven't had many long extended searches where we need to be flown, and that's where the military really come and helpful. They've got these big machines that can help move a lot of people.
Right. Oh, so you can take like 20 people in at a go and kind of
2 teams probably, because you're talking about a pack full of gear to keep everybody safe for 24 hours at least.
So how many people's in a team?
And what is the composition of a team? Is there a team leader and all that kind of stuff?
Yep,
Camp mother?
Yep.
No.
So there is usually back at base or wherever the search is being run from, there'll be some IMT, so incident management team members who are working alongside police to help them coordinate with local knowledge, and they know their teams.
And they're part of the land search and rescue volunteers,
Yes.
but they're kind of at the base camp,
Yes.
help like coordinating between the police and the searching people.
Yes, and helping the police to create the best search plan possible with the information they've got.
Right.
And then out in the field, you'll have a team which is usually 3 to 4 people, one of which is a team leader.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 or 3 are highly qualified, same basic skills. And some people might have better skills in, say, navigation, or somebody might be a trained medic in there.
Right, yeah.
But usually everybody's got at least basic first aid training so they can look after
Because that's those
potential patient or themselves. Often, most of the time when we use first aid skills is on our own team members.
Right.
It's not on the person we've come to find, because if they're bleeding that heavily, by the time we find them, they're not
Then they're going to
anymore.
bleed out, right? Yeah. So that's kind of.
And when you call a helicopter and the person being rescued doesn't pay for it, does that come out of ACC?
Who pays for the
something?
helicopter?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
It's
the
not you
detail.
guys though, is it?
No, it's not.
I think it
like your
must be
volunteers
ACC.
aren't the helicopter pilots, are they?
No,
Or are they?
not at
No.
all. No.
So the whole helicopter kind of bit is to the side. You're like the people on the ground.
Yeah, and we have no jurisdiction to request a helicopter. The police or
because
RCC do.
the police, are they the people in charge?
Exactly.
So
So it's
they
all
call you
coordinated.
and then they'll decide whether they need to
So
call
we
it.
can't deploy without one of those 2 agencies asking us
Yes,
to do
under
so.
PCC.
Right.
If we do, we're not covered in terms
Right.
of if stuff gets damaged or injured, or damaged or lost equipment,
Yeah.
or if somebody gets injured.
So you're at that point, you're just a bunch of friends going out in the bush.
Yeah.
Right. And if you
Oh, we found this person. Oh, that was a lucky find.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting what the structure of it is. So it's someone calls 111 or the police or lets off a PLB, and then it goes to the police, and that goes through to, like, the police are in charge. They're coordinating everything. They're saying, okay, it's in this area. We need the Coast Guard. We need the land land search and rescue, we need helicopters, we need X number of helicopters. Oh yeah, they need ladders, we might send the fire brigade out there or whatever. That's the job of the police to do all of that coordinating.
Or the Rescue Coordination Centre.
Or if it's a PRB, the Rescue Coordination Centre.
Sometimes the Rescue Coordination Centre will pass the job onto police.
Right.
If it starts to get prolonged or complex, if it's not a simple pluck and retrieve.
Right.
Then
and you would hope that they're like communicating quite well, because, I mean, I'm just imagining a scenario where someone's out, something's gone wrong, they've broken their leg or something, and then they realise belatedly that they're not going to get back, so they pull the PLB, and meantime their worried person back home has already called the police, so that you get 2 signals saying this person...
It could happen. I don't know if it has. I'd have to find out about that.
Yeah, no,
there might be stories like that.
Well, it just seems like it's unlikely, because one would have come in first, but then if they're going to 2 different places, one hopes that they're coordinated. They must have a system of coordinating.
I hope so.
Let's check it afterwards.
So have you guys ever been called overseas to like large search and rescues in terms of big earthquakes, that kind of thing?
No, and a lot of those...
That's
another bizarre area that we don't really work in, is the
Civil
urban
emergency.
the building. Yeah, that's the civil defence kind of space, and they're specialists in terms of training to remove people from buildings.
Right?
Yeah, because that's a whole different kettle of fish.
That's another arm that we do try to play nicely with. It's it's one small sandpit. So some of our groups have got memorandums of understanding with their local council that should a big event happen, that our search and rescue members are available to help with door knocking or welfare checks or searching certain areas should it need to be helped.
I mean, it must be useful. I mean, even if it's not your direct line there, it must actually be really useful for, like in a situation like that, to have people who are used to working in a team together and used to kind of leading people and calm and collected in a stressful situation, like whatever the situation is, whether it's a flood or a tsunami or a what earthquake, whatever the situation is.
They're used to working in a structured manner
and working as a team together and kind of.
And they've got good comms as well. We use a good radio system, and when the cell phones go out, then we've got a backup system.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And obviously like who the other organisations are, even if you don't know who the specific people are or how to contact them. You kind of have like
it's not blanket across the country. It's difficult for us as a national organisation to have a national agreement at that level, because NEMA...
Who's NEMA?
The National Emergency Management Association.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
So when it goes really bad,
right,
NEMA get involved, but at a state of emergency kind of level. But it's largely left to the local groups to have those relationships. Because
I imagine, like, I was going through all the disasters, but of course something like a cyclone, then you could have lots of people that are missing. And is that like a big thing for... land search and rescue, or is that it's already gone past? It's already gone into state of emergency.
Yeah, that's a civil defence emergency.
Wow.
So again, specialists who know how to work through rubble and those kind of that terrain that doesn't look like terrain anymore. It's just buildings.
But you could be called in to do that other bit, the door knocking.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Checking who's around. How did you get involved with search and rescue?
How did I get involved? I was at the time working for an outdoor gear distributor, so we brought in lots of different brands of outdoor gear into New Zealand, and my boss's friend was a search and rescue member, and we were chatting about it one day, and he knew I liked climbing in the outdoors, and he's like, why don't you come and
this?
give a go? And so that was with the Alpine Rescue Canterbury team, and since then I've moved on to being a field team member with the Christchurch team. So I realised I don't love exposure and highly technical environments. So I've left that to the experts who do that far more often than I. And I'm a team member and field team leader for the Christchurch team.
Right.
So I muddy the waters. I'm an employee for the national organisation, but I'm also a volunteer.
Right. Yep. So sometimes you go with your own group. But, I mean, I think that's quite good, though.
I'm never paid to go out and deploy.
I'm
paid to support.
Like organising all of the professional learning and where people are training and coordinating things. And I imagine also with this new, the Otago Institute's just been doing our registration for the societies, and I imagine that you've got a lot of that kind of stuff that people want, in all of these little groups want advice with.
So we as New Zealand Land Search and Rescue are a federation model, so all of our groups are independent societies.
Right.
So we've done a lot of work, and the groups have done a huge amount of mahi to get to the point where they are now re-registered. And I think we're 99% there with all of our groups.
That's amazing. Because
it's shout out to those groups, because man, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, honestly. It does seem sometimes like, why are we being made to do this?
Yeah.
But it's,
So there's a lot involved with being a volunteer. It's not just being operationally ready if you're a field team member.
Yeah.
There's those committee roles, there's fundraising.
Yeah.
How does one become a volunteer?
So they can jump on our website and look at the local groups and can register their interest that way.
And we'll link to that in the episode description.
Fab. Or if you happen to know somebody who's already involved, maybe have a chat, pop along if it's suitable to one of the trainings or meetings, and get a feel for whether this is something that you'd like to be involved in, because it is a commitment. It's not a just fly in and be a hero. We need people to train up and to attend local trainings regularly so your teammates know who you are, can trust you.
Yeah, know you've got the skills and that you're, just...
Because that team dynamics can be quite tricky. So, I mean,
especially with volunteers. If you have personalities that you don't like or don't get on with, it's probably easier to manage in a workplace. But as volunteers, everybody knows that they're there for the love of it, and hopefully we like to think that people can communicate, but not all of us adults are taught how to do that.
Yeah. It's surprising actually how many, and I don't know if it's a Kiwi thing or if it's just I don't know.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, but it is interesting how you sort of find it, and then like how long. So if I just went along to a like, say I saw it on the meeting, or I said, "Hey, Ali, how would I be a volunteer? I'd like to join. I think it's a great idea. I want to be a volunteer." Would you just go, "Oh, I don't think you're fit enough. Don't do it." You're more of a
hindrance. What role you might want to fill. If there's that IMT, the incident management role, or management support unit, the people who are supporting those to be out on the search. So often if a call comes and it's dark or it's after dinner, people have already been awake often since 5 or 6 a.m. or even earlier, depending on their jobs. So we have a fatigue policy. If people are awake for over 17 hours, then you're really not fit to drive. So we need support people who can drive them
to the place
or back from a search.
So
there's lots of other support roles that are needed within groups. But some groups around the country are really full. We've got an amazing network of people in Aotearoa who want to give back.
Wow.
And with a lot of high-profile searches recently in the news, there's been a massive surge in people wanting to volunteer.
That's interesting,
But there isn't always the capacity for that at the local level. But if you want to get involved in some way, then reach out.
And I guess there's all that like help with fundraising and,
Yeah, there's lots of administrative
stuff.
Jobs,
and stuff. And some people, like you were saying, like a team can be like 4 or 5 people, maybe 6, but are there some places, like I'm thinking around kind of Mount Aspiring National Park area, where there's more than one team that's there?
So when I say a team, that's the people who are available to go out on that particular call.
Oh, right, okay.
A lot of our groups will have anywhere from, I think the minimum for the incorporated societies is 10, up to hundreds. I know that Dunedin here has at least 100 members.
So, wow.
So there's a lot of people in a lot of different roles. Not everybody's available
all the time. Yeah, that's true, actually, because you might be at your sister's wedding or, who knows what. People have lives, right, because they're volunteers, so you expect them that they'll have lives. So how do they actually find out whose turn it is to go? Like when the call comes in, how does that work?
Once you become operational, most groups have a system which will notify those operational members that a job is happening.
Yeah, like a text message that goes to the group or something.
There's apps. There's different apps out there.
That WhatsApp group.
D4H is this international program which is specialised for these kind of things. So that's been rolled out to all of our groups slowly throughout the country.
Yeah.
And that notifies you that something's happening, and you just need to let it know that you're available or not, or that you might be able to come in 2 hours' time, depending on your situation. So, and then the person who's received that request to deploy from police or RCC collates that and starts to let the police know, look, we can give you 2 teams of 3 or 4 teams of 4.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's interesting, no? Because there is quite a lot of that coordination stuff in it. And in some ways, the whole coordination of everything is the biggest job. I mean, obviously you don't feel like that when you're slogging up a hill in a blizzard at 2 a.m. in the morning, but yeah.
But
you want to know that you're going up the...
volunteers love it because this is what we do it for. You want to give back. You want to give it to somebody. People who need your help. We don't care who you are, where you come from, what's happened. We're just here to do our best to bring you home as safely as possible.
And there's probably, just bearing in mind the type of people that are in these teams, they're probably also, they're people who are experienced and who are out in the bush and stuff. So, like yourself, they're probably the people who are feeling like,
it could
if I need it, or it could be me, or I know someone who's benefited from that, who's saved them, or everybody's got stories. Anybody who's a tramper or a climber's got stories, right, of themselves or their group or people that they know. It's a small world in New Zealand, so I imagine
I never had a story until last winter.
Yeah, but now you've got a story.
But it's really fascinating to be on the receiving end of a call out. Sorry, there was no search involved because it was really obvious where exactly we were. But so grateful for this service that all these volunteers and the network of police and rescue services we have around the country. We are so fortunate, and everybody's so lovely, so professional. They're just there to do a job, do it well, and.
I mean, it's quite amazing, really, that there's this kind of network of people all over the country that do this as volunteers, that not only do they do it, but they also go along to all the weekends and train up for everything and do it, and that it's all kind of organised. And, I guess it's all kind of...
Well, I guess it's that third place that we used to have it a lot more, I think, of. I
guess we should explain the third place for those.
So for those who don't know what the third place is, you've got home is one place, work is another place, second place, and that third place could be church or societies or sports groups or other...
Or the library.
Whatever. I think they're often
whatever
a social interaction.
And
I think that's the key thing, is a lot of our members become really good friends if they weren't already friends with the people who are in the team. And because you've got to trust them in a lot of sometimes dicey situations. So they become some really close people in your life.
Yeah. So is there sort of age limits and...
Not at all. No, I'll backtrack on that. There is, in terms of the age of people we can deploy, because of some of the things we find, and some of the people don't want to be found. I'll say that as nicely as I can.
Right, yeah.
So we're often looking for bodies.
Right,
so we don't want to expose children to that. So
right.
Most groups have the requirement that you're at least 18 years old to be operational.
Yeah.
And we have groups all over the country who've got seasoned volunteers.
And I guess that's just like a experience, and you know your own body if you're...
That's right.
If it's
no matter what age you are, if you know that you're not fit enough anymore or there's other stuff going on in life, we expect them to feed back to their team leaders and say, hey, look, I'm going to step back for a bit, or...
Yeah, I mean, that's that self-realisation
So you don't have
type
a fitness test or anything?
Yes, there are some basic fitness competencies, but it depends on where you live. So if you live in an environment that has no hills, you don't need to be hill fit, and we don't need our management and admin support team to be as fit as the field team members, of course. So it's
and I guess when you're doing urban searches, around kind of gardens and things, compared to when you up Mount Aspiring, it's a
exactly a very different need,
kind of case by case basis. So if people are listening to this and they're thinking, wow, I never knew that land search and rescue did so much. I'm not the sort of person who's got the fitness or the time to be devoting to that, but I'd like to
donate.
I'd like to donate.
I'll donate.
How do they do it? If they want to contribute there, how do they do that?
They can either go through our website. There is a section on how to donate, or if they want to donate specifically to a local group, we can put you in touch with the local group, or again through the national donation. If you tag it, we'll put a comment to say it's for Dunedin or Stewart Island.
Also, you can have it directly for your group.
So it goes directly to that community to help them do additional training to what we provide nationally.
Yeah. Cool. What is that actual website address if you've got it there?
So it is landsar, landsar.org.nz. And I'm just watching the rescue chopper come in right now outside the window.
Yeah, because there's always the Westpac. Like here in Dunedin, we see it all. Sorry, I'm banging on my headphones there. We're always seeing the Westpac helicopter coming in and out, and that's not always land search and rescue, though. I imagine some of that's just hospital transfers.
On a lot of those jobs where we're able to get the injured party to a road end, or in the case of my friend who broke his leg last year, the exact Otago rescue helicopter came all the way from Dunedin to the Canterbury High Country because he lives in Dunedin. So it made sense for him to be treated back here
in Dunedin.
So usually the injured party will be taken to either the road end where an ambulance might be waiting, or depending on the severity, a chopper.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I guess by the time you folk get there, you've got radio contact and you can actually advise base what kind of situation is happening there and what kind of second steps. And I guess it's not always just one person. That's the other thing.
That's right. There's lots of rescues where one person has injured themselves, but they're with just one other person. So it's making sure that other person is looked after.
Yeah.
And we can get them safely off the hill as well. And often they can walk out with some team members, but it's really important that we make sure that everybody gets out and home safe, because this can be really traumatic for the other members of the party.
I can
too.
imagine, yeah. I mean, we sort of make light of it a little bit, but there can be some really scary incidents, I guess. Do you provide some sort of counselling or mental health training around all that professional training?
We do. We have our own member wellbeing support program, and it also extends to if there's something personal happening in their own lives,
right,
completely unrelated to search and rescue, then that's available for them and their families. So,
cool.
Which is,
and that's quite good. I mean, it's worth it, right? Because you want them in a well place in their mind so that they can be effective as volunteers.
That's right. And
so
there's a lot of things that get seen by our volunteers, which you never want to wish that on anybody.
Yeah. And I guess you kind of also, it's not always one thing. Like, it might be stuff that's going on in their personal lives, but you don't know how much of that's weighted to things that they've seen or stresses, or, it's like mental health doesn't get compartmentalised as much as we might like to think it does.
No, but it's really great that we've got a support system.
Yeah, no, so that's really good.
If people want to tap into it, that's the other thing. It's never forced on our members, and it's always there available for them 24/7 as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of our role as group and volunteer support, is to make sure after we know a difficult search has happened that the members are referred to that service, and then if they want to tap into it, then it's there. So.
Yeah, and
you must do a debrief after.
Yes,
and that would come up as part of.
That's usually happened well before the debrief.
Oh, okay.
Often the debrief doesn't happen straight away. There might be a hot debrief depending on if it's a quick find,
right,
or if it's a long complex search, like the one at Mount Huxley recently. That could happen a week or two after. So, and that's often run by the police.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And groups will do their own debriefs as well. There's lots and lots of learnings that come out of most searches. And we have a national learning management system that we try to capture a lot of these, so then we don't end up repeating the same problems or mistakes.
So they go through different groups. Is there much kind of, you're talking about the group working as a team, but then if something happens and it would be good learning, then given that you've got the national body, it would be good to have that kind of disseminated around the groups.
That's what we try to do.
That's your role there?
That's the learning management system. Yeah. And we have a great little publication that goes out to our membership, at least, called Our Stories, which has a lot of case studies of these kind of searches, and a great tool to be able to draw on at any time. But that's also, like you say, it could be one group involved, or it could be multiple different groups. So it's really important that our groups know their neighbouring groups. So Dunedin knows North Otago, knows Mackenzie, and so they
all work together a little bit. Because obviously some people
cross borders.
Yeah, some people are lost on the edges of borders. I don't know, the Waitaki River seems like a great border.
I'm not going because it's not my
no. Oh, no, it's interesting. Kind of all those nutty bits there. Crazy. I don't suppose you're allowed to tell us stories of some of the rescues that you've been on.
A lot of them aren't that exciting. We did have one recently, I think it was last winter, where the local Oxford group were called in to rescue or to help extract a young couple who'd gone for a walk at the base of Mount Oxford, and with inappropriate footwear, Crocs.
Crocs are dangerous, eh?
Men, they're so comfortable.
Honestly,
Time and a place.
Yes, exactly.
No, honestly, I think there's no time and place for them. I think the opposite.
Well, I thought that until we went to Fukushima and we had to put Crocs on to go inside the area, and they're really comfy.
Other people's Crocs.
Oh, they have sheet Crocs because you can't wear your shoes inside the power station.
Sounds yuck.
Anyway, you found them. Keep going.
Well,
I hate to think how you
we
found them.
arrived probably about 11 p.m. and it turned out to be one of those beautiful, calm nights that never happens on a search.
Yeah.
And it turned out the helicopter could fly in and winch the paramedic down and then winch her up and take her off. And so we walked her partner out. In fact, the team walked him out first, got him well ahead. And so it was quite nice to walk out in the dark with another team, under our head torches.
Yeah.
Just to actually have a bit of social time.
That'd be lovely.
And 'cause you have to be quite professional when you're with a rescue party.
Yeah.
But we could have a good old yak. And, and you're trying to carry a stretcher back, and it's, this is so nice not having to carry a patient. Just the gear.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I guess there's some nice times as well. That's good to know that you get some kind of relief out there.
Yeah, and you get, it's like the coriander of the world, the Crocs polarisation conversation.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's like Crocs, coriander, and Marmite Vegemite are the three things rather than just really
Very polarising. Sorry, it's almost like politics.
Yeah, coriander. If you've got a gene, like it makes the enzyme that makes it taste nice. Otherwise, it tastes like soap.
Really?
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Like it's an
I
actual.
like coriander.
It's a but it's not people being picky. It's a physiological thing. It's like the asparagus pea. It's the same. You've either got an enzyme that
Really?
Yeah, and it's not just the enzyme that breaks down the asparagine in the asparagus to make the smell. There's like two parts to it. It's whether you can smell it and whether your body actually makes that conversion.
Well, folks, you're learning a lot about all sorts of things today.
What really amuses me is when somebody's eating a lot of beetroot and forget.
Oh, yeah.
Come running from the bathroom. I said, remember what you had for dinner last night?
Yes, no, that's also. Gosh, we have gone strangely off topic.
It's all about search and rescue.
Strangely off topic. Now, before we leave, I'm just going to get Ali. Can you just say that website again, so that if people are listening, they can have that website in their brain?
Yep, it's landsar.org.nz.
And all donations, I'm imagining, gratefully received.
100%.
And a big shout out to everybody.
And a
who
big
does
shout
that
out to
stuff.
everybody who
It's
does it, I
amazing.
think, yeah.
And not just our volunteers, but their families at home who are the ones who have to take the kids to school the next morning or are woken up in the middle of the night because their partners have been as well. So they're a huge part of allowing our volunteers to be so skilled and available. So
Yeah, no, it's
Fantastic.
It's a fantastic system, really. And do other countries have similar systems?
Yes. Like the Scottish Mountain Rescue is all volunteers as well. I think throughout most of the UK, a lot of the United States, we had delegates from...
In the United States, I would have thought
States.
they would be all on insurances and weird things.
Oh, don't ask me how the background of it works, but
Yeah, okay.
I know they are largely volunteers as well.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's
It's pretty cool.
pretty cool, really.
Australia's quite different. It's run under the state emergency services. So again, like a civil defence response, their
Right.
search and rescue is run under each state.
Right.
So that's a really different system. So we're so lucky that so many of our organisations in our country have got these amazing volunteers to give time and energy to.
And then it's just like one kind of, like there's the local bit of it's preserved with the Federation and the societies,
Yep.
but also there's that umbrella overview so that no one's getting missed out and there's no holes there. Or are there holes?
I mean, no system is perfect, but
Okay.
we provide a lot of guidance and guidelines for our groups, but we don't police how our groups run.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
it
won't.
allows them to be have their
autonomous
own,
because they're their own little societies.
And their as you said, flavour. How would they get the local knowledge and that kind of stuff if they don't? And that's key to coordination.
Crazy. Hey, thank you very much for coming along today, Ali. It's been super interesting. There's so many things about land search and rescue that I just did not know. And I now feel like I've got a much better grasp of the situation. Don't know about you, Trudy, would you say that?
Oh, yes, definitely. I wasn't aware of the complexities and the coordination and the groups. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here to plug what our volunteers are doing. And go donate.
Yes.
Go donate. Hey, thank you very much. And thank you also to all our listeners out there. You've been listening to the OI podcast with Dr. Barb and
Trudy.
And today we were joined in the studio by Ali Scarlet for Land Search and Rescue, the South Island group and volunteer team leader.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! You've been listening to the OI podcast, the shout out for the arts, sciences and Mataranga Māori.
You can support this podcast by becoming a member of the OI. Check out the Otago Institute for Arts and Sciences on Facebook or our website.
If you'd like to listen again to this episode or others from the series, look for the OI podcast on ORFM's website, oar.org.nz.
Brought to you by the Otago Institute for Arts and Sciences, the Otago branch of the Royal Society of New Zealand.
This podcast was produced by ORFM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.